The 90s was one of the golden eras of fashion. It wasn't just the runways or music videos, but also cinema, and in particular historical fashion. Whether it was a pretty gown worn at a high society party or a simple, elegant dress that quietly stole the scene, these outfits are remembered to this day. We'll be diving into 9 of the prettiest from the 90s, starting with the Titanic. The timeless film tells the story of young aristocrat Rose and artist Jack as they travel on the ill-fated ship. We all know how the plot goes. The couple falls in love, but things end in tragedy when the ship hits an iceberg and starts to sink. When it comes to Rose's wardrobe, she wears a mix of day and evening dresses in soft colors like pale pink, green, cream, red, orange, and blue. One of her most iconic looks is the pink dinner dress. It's made of pink silk with a layer of black mesh on top. The mesh is decorated with silver sequins and heavy beading. The dress has cap sleeves and gives off a glamorous, formal feel. Rose pairs it with a matching jewelry set called a parure, featuring diamonds and dangling pearls, and she also adds jewels to her hair for extra sparkle. She wears long white silk gloves and carries a small black handbag. The gloves come off during dinner but stay on for most of the scene. The dress has a flowing train, adding a romantic and dramatic touch as she walks down the grand staircase. Later, when Rose and Jack dance, we catch a glimpse of her black stockings. The movie is set during the height of the Gilded Age, right as modern fashion was starting to emerge. Costume designer Deborah Lynn Scott won an Oscar for her work in the movie and made sure the styles Rose wore reflected the latest trends from Paris. Fashion in 1912 is actually similar to that of 1812, with high empire waists and narrow skirts. Rose's outfits are all historically accurate, except for the makeup, which leans more 1990s to connect with modern viewers. At the start of the film, Rose wears sharp, structured outfits like a pinstriped suit, showing how trapped she feels. As the story goes on and she gets closer to Jack, her clothes soften and become more relaxed. Even though many women were ditching corsets by then, Rose still wears one because of her strict upbringing. The pink dress makes her stand out during the fancy dinner with the upper class, and again when she joins Jack at a lively third class party. It's not as stiff as her earlier looks, showing she's starting to loosen up. The softer fabric lets her move freely while dancing. The dark colors and heavy beadwork reflect the weight of the rules and expectations she's under. This is contrasted sharply with the freer, lighter dresses she wears later when with Jack. In a key moment, she takes off her black satin shoes, a quiet symbol that she's beginning to step away from her old life. When someone spills a drink on her dress, she laughs it off, showing she never really cared about being proper anyway. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The show is about Buffy Summers, a seemingly normal teen who's actually the latest in a long line of slayers. Slayers are chosen to fight vampires, demons, and other dark forces. Buffy goes to Sunnydale High, which happens to sit on a hellmouth, a hotspot for supernatural trouble. She faces these threats with help from her Scooby Gang, Willow, Xander, Cordelia, and her mentor Giles. The show is a coming-of-age story. The monsters Buffy fights often represent the struggles of being a teen or young adult, just like the ones the audience faces in real life. The show also has tons of great fashion moments that reflect the late 90s and early 2000s style. Buffy's style changes throughout the series as she grows from a teen into a young adult. Early on, she wears miniskirts and leather jackets. Later, her outfits include midi skirts and low-rise jeans. One outfit that really stands out is from Season 1, Episode 9, The Puppet Show. Buffy wears a leopard print dress, a black leather jacket, and calf-high boots. In the episode, she faces off against a creepy ventriloquist dummy and wears an outfit that totally captures the fashion trends of the time. At first, Buffy wears just the dress, but once she starts investigating the murders, she throws on the jacket. The leopard print is bold and fierce, just like her. The yellow and brown tones go well with her blonde hair, making the outfit feel put together. Silver accessories like rings and earrings top it all off. Instead of dressing her like the usual horror victim, the show gives her stylish, feminine clothes and made her the hero. A lot of horror heroines back then wore more masculine looks, but not Buffy. She owned her love of fashion and didn't hide her femininity. The costume designer, Cynthia Bergstrom, often used popular U.S. stores like Macy's to build the characters' looks. That made Buffy's outfits feel real and reachable. Girls watching at home could see pieces they owned on screen, and that made them feel powerful too. Cruel Intentions. This movie is a drama about two rich and manipulative step-siblings, Catherine and Sebastian. They make a bet about whether Sebastian can seduce a kind, innocent girl named Annette. At first, it's just a game, but Sebastian ends up falling in love. His feelings lead to a change of heart, but their schemes spiral out of control. In the end, there's betrayal, heartbreak, and redemption. Sebastian dies, and Annette reveals the truth about Catherine to everyone. The movie is based on the novel Dangerous Liaisons and reimagines 18th century French aristocrats as wealthy teens in New York. Out of all the costumes in the film, the corset dress Catherine wears stands out the most. In her first big scene, she's dressed in a Dolce & Gabbana suit. When she opens the jacket, it reveals a corset and bustier underneath, something bold and unexpected. Catherine, like Sebastian, often wears black, gray, and muted tones with touches of silver. Their outfits are more grown up than what most teens wear, helping them stand out and appear more powerful. The sleek suits suggest they take themselves seriously, maybe too seriously. The dark colors also represent their inner motives. They dress as dark as their intentions are. Catherine's silver jewelry, like her chain, earrings, ring, and heels, match the silver hooks on her corset. The choice of silver makes sense for her character. It gives her that icy, ruthless vibe. The whole outfit, in fact, serves as a strong visual metaphor. It sums up the themes of the movie, like control, seduction, and the difference between how things look and what's really going on. The corset highlights her sex appeal, which she uses to manipulate people, especially Sebastian. The outfit is also a symbol of darkness under seemingly innocent exteriors. While on the surface she's elegant and sophisticated, her actions tell a different story. The look gives off a femme fatale feel, almost like a caricature of a sexy businesswoman. One of the most memorable props in the film is her rosary necklace. At first it looks innocent, but it actually hides drugs, flipping the idea of purity on its head. It adds another layer to her fake image. Costume designer Denise Wingate added some clever nods to the original novel's Rococo-era style. Catherine's tight, structured tops are a modern take on the old-fashioned corsets worn by women in 18th century France. Her outfit wasn't just stylish. It told us exactly who Catherine is, and also set the tone for the rest of the movie's fashion. Romeo and Juliet. This is a modern adaptation of Shakespeare's famous tragedy, set in a fictional place called Verona Beach. It follows two teenagers, Romeo and Juliet, from rival families, the Montagues and the Capulets respectively. They fall in love instantly and secretly get married and hope to end the feud, but after a chain of misunderstandings and violence, their story ends in heartbreak and a tragic double suicide. Baz Luhrmann's 1996 version brought Shakespeare to the MTV generation with bold visuals, fast pacing, and dramatic flair. One of the film's most lasting elements is the costume design. The outfits were created to feel timeless, not tied to any specific decade, and they still stand out today. When Romeo first meets Juliet, she's wearing a white dress with angel wings and a cross necklace. Romeo is dressed as a knight. Their costumes show an idealized version of femininity and masculinity. Juliet's hair is partly pulled back in a soft, elegant style that adds to her innocent look. Her suitor Paris is also in white, but while they match in color, their overall appearance feels disconnected. Later in the scene, when Juliet stands above Romeo on a balcony, she looks like an angel looking down from heaven, with wind blowing through her hair. She gives Romeo her cross necklace, symbolizing that she's giving him a piece of herself. Juliet's angel costume reflects her purity, youth, and beauty. Romeo, as her knight in shining armor, is also dressed in a lighter color, symbolizing his hopeful, romantic nature. Their soft silver and white outfits contrast with the loud, flashy costumes worn by everyone else at the party, showing that Romeo and Juliet are different from the world around them. Juliet often wears lighter colors throughout the movie, which sets her apart from her family and visually shows how she doesn't fully fit into their world. Her style often matches Romeo's more than her relatives. Her family is mostly dressed in Dolce & Gabbana pieces, but this white dress was Prada, When they get married, we see Romeo wearing a Prada wedding suit, suddenly reinforcing their connection. The angel wings make Juliet look almost holy, rising above the chaos and violence around her. Her costume also brings in religious symbolism, which shows up again and again in the film. She wears white again at her wedding and in the final scene, where both she and Romeo die. From start to finish, her wardrobe reflects her identity as a pure hearted Capulet caught in a world of conflict. Little Women. Little Women tells the story of the four March sisters, Jo, Meg, Beth, and Amy, growing up in Massachusetts during the Civil War. As they grow older, each sister faces her own struggles with love, loss, and chasing personal dreams. Jo, a bold and passionate writer, struggles with societal expectations, while each sister follows her own path. Based on Louisa May Alcott's classic novel, the film explores themes of family, identity, and growing up. The movie was nominated for an Oscar for Best Costume Design, and it's full of endearing period outfits. The prettiest one of all, in my opinion, however, is the pink dress Meg wears when she goes to a ball. Meg starts out the scene wearing a pretty blue dress which she made herself, but some of the women around her say it's too plain and not fancy enough for the occasion. They dress her up in a more eye-catching pink gown instead. She pairs the pink dress with gold dangling earrings and a pearl necklace. The dress has soft pink fabric, white lace trim at the shoulders, and balloon sleeves with lace along the edges. She looks beautiful, but it's clear she's trying to fit in rather than be herself. For starters, Meg is wearing a corset in this outfit, unlike earlier in the film. She also wipes her lipstick off later in the ball, showing that the way she dressed up wasn't really her. She admits she was playing a part and wanted to experience what life in high society feels like. The costumes in the 1994 film are more muted and down to earth than the ones in the 2019 version. They give a more realistic look at what a middle class family in the 1860s might have worn, and do an excellent job with historical accuracy. Shakespeare in Love. This is a romantic comedy drama that imagines a fictional affair between a young William Shakespeare and Viola de Lesseps, a noblewoman who dreams of acting. Shakespeare is stuck with writer's block until he meets Viola, who inspires him. She disguises herself as a man to audition for his new play. Soon she confesses her truth to Shakespeare, and both start a romance. Their love helps bring Romeo and Juliet to life, but they can't be together because of class and duty. In the end, Viola marries someone else, and she and Shakespeare sadly part ways. Viola wears many beautiful costumes in the movie, but the gold and cream dress she wears at the end is one of the most pivotal ones. In one of the final scenes, Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet is performed for the first time, but the male actor playing Juliet can't do it anymore because his voice is cracking. That same day, Viola marries Lord Wessex, but after hearing about the play, she decides to go see it. She ends up saving the show by stepping in as Juliet, wearing a cream and gold dress with a matching cape. The gold details match the gold on Shakespeare's outfit and also go well with her blonde hair. This was a time when women weren't allowed to act, so Viola stepping in as herself instead of in a disguise was brave and caused quite the scandal. Her hair is pulled back at the crown into soft braids, giving her a sweet, feminine look. She wears a simple pearl chain necklace to finish the outfit. The dress has long sleeves with soft ruffles and a high waistline. The fabric is brocade with gold accents, which also appear in Shakespeare's sleeves, making them look visually cohesive. Her bright dress stands out compared to the darker colors she wore earlier in the film. This color shift shows hope and a new sense of peace in her relationship with Shakespeare. The gold color wasn't just a symbol of wealth, it was linked to royalty and high status. In the past, only people like queens, dukes, or earls could wear it. Gold was also seen as a powerful, sometimes even masculine color. So when both Viola and Queen Elizabeth wear gold in the scene, it sends a strong message about female power. This outfit also shows Viola's growth. She's no longer hiding or living in disguise. She's bold, confident, proud of who she is, and has overcome the limits society placed on her, and that she sees her worth, no matter what the rules say. The Age of Innocence. This romantic drama is set in 1870s New York high society. It follows Newland Archer, a respected lawyer who's engaged to the sweet and proper May Welland. But things get complicated when May's cousin, Countess Ellen Olenska, returns from Europe after leaving her unhappy marriage. Archer is drawn to Ellen's bold and free spirited nature and falls in love with her. He's torn between doing what society expects, marrying May, or following his heart with Ellen. The film is Martin Scorsese's 1993 adaptation of Edith Wharton's 1920 novel. It won the Academy Award for Best Costume Design, thanks to Italian designer Gabriella Pescucci. Her costumes capture the elegance and restrictions of upper-class New York during the natural form bustle era, roughly between 1875 and 1882. One of the most important outfits in the film is the white archery dress worn by May Welland, played by Winona Ryder. She wears it in a key scene set in Newport, where she competes and wins in an archery contest. This scene comes right after her engagement to Newland is announced, and visually shows how she fits into their world and into his life. The dress is a crisp white outfit with a fitted jacket that has a pointed hem, a high collar with light green embroidery, and a white bow at the center. It's made of eyelet lace and has three-quarter sleeves with lace cuffs. The skirt is long and features cascading ruffles at the bottom, a slight bustle in the back, and ruche detailing at the hips. It also has a short train, which was common for the time period. Costume historians describe the outfit as sporty yet perfectly ladylike. It balances the physical activity of archery with the strict fashion rules for women back then. The pure white color of her dress stands for innocence and the image of a perfect bride in high society. But the scene shows something deeper. While May looks delicate, her skill with a bow shows strength and precision. Her outfit also visually links her to Newland, who wears white linen in the scene. This shows they're a good match on the surface and fit well in their social circle. In contrast, Ellen Olenska's clothing is more vibrant and unconventional throughout the movie. This difference in costume reflects Newland's inner conflict, whether to choose the safe, expected life with May or follow his true feelings with Ellen. The archery scene also acts as a subtle metaphor. May's perfect aim mirrors how she controls the situation and keeps Newland on the path society wants for him. In the end, she hits her target, maintaining her engagement with Newland despite Ellen Olenska's involvement, and finally marrying him. Sense and Sensibility. This is a period drama based on Jane Austen's novel. It follows the Dashwood sisters, Eleanor and Marianne, who face financial trouble after their father dies. Eleanor is calm and practical, while Marianne is more emotional and romantic. They both fall in love, Eleanor with the quiet Edward Ferrars, and Marianne with the charming Willoughby. But they have to deal with heartbreak, family pressure, and learning more about themselves. In the end, they each find love that matches both their hearts and values. The film is known for its accurate historical costumes, and one of the most memorable is Eleanor's simple but elegant navy blue dress. The outfit reflects both her personality and the overall style of the film. It's plain and practical, which matches Eleanor's rational and composed nature. This is one of her most worn dresses in the movie. The dress has no fancy decorations or flashy details, just like Eleanor herself. She doesn't dress to stand out and often puts others first. Her dresses have square necklines that are more modest than her sister Marianne's, which makes Eleanor seem more reserved. The navy blue color of Eleanor's dress is also important. It quietly shows that she's still mourning her father's death. It's a serious, respectful color that matches her mood and role in the family. The blue also brings out actress Emma Thompson's eyes, which may be why the costume designers used it often. The dress's empire silhouette fits the early 19th century fashion trends with its high waist and narrow skirt. The story is set around 1800, right when the Empire or Regency style became popular. Women's dresses started to change in the 1790s. They got narrower and waistlines rose. By 1800, dresses followed a more Greco-Roman look with soft fabrics and simple lines. And we can see all these influences in the costuming of the movie. It should be noted that navy blue was sometimes linked to mourning during the Regency period, but it was also seen as proper and tasteful for daytime wear. This makes the color a perfect match for Eleanor. She's dealing with grief, but she also shows quiet strength as she handles life's challenges. Elizabeth. Elizabeth 1998 is a historical drama that tells the story of Queen Elizabeth I's early reign. After her half-sister Mary dies, The young and inexperienced Elizabeth becomes queen in a country full of danger, division, and political tension. She faces pressure to marry, threats from religious enemies, and betrayal in her own court. As time goes on, she grows from a naive girl into a strong, independent ruler, choosing her country over romantic love. The film earned an Oscar nomination for Best Costume Design, and critics note that many of Kate Blanchett's costumes closely match the gowns Queen Elizabeth I wore in famous portraits. One of the most important costumes is the white dress Elizabeth wears at the end of the movie when she declares herself the Virgin Queen, married only to England. In this scene, she also cuts her hair short and begins wearing wigs and the white lead makeup that later defined her image. The costume designer Alexandra Byrne made the dress with a high neckline and a closed ruff. The sleeves are embroidered to match the front panel of her underskirt, while her coat sleeves match the gown. As she walks toward the throne, the cone-like shape of the dress shows that she's wearing a Spanish farthingale, along with a bum roll and petticoats underneath. The whole outfit is decorated with silver bows, pearls, and glass cabochon. She wears several pearl necklaces, large teardrop pearl earrings, and even pearls in her hair, which were a major symbol of status and beauty in the 1500s. The dress's white and silver colors are inspired by the Ditchley portrait, while the shape and design comes from the gown in the Armada portrait. The outfit covers her completely, and the white color suggests purity, youth, and chastity. Costume designer Burns said the dress reflects Elizabeth's journey from an innocent girl to a hardened ruler. At the beginning of the film, her necklines are low, but by the end, they rise higher, building up to the final iconic look. The final dress is accurate to styles from the 1580s, but the events in the movie take place much earlier, around 1563. For that time period, the costume is historically inaccurate, but it still works symbolically to show her transformation into the legend she became. Fashion in film is more than just style. It's a powerful storytelling tool that brings characters to life and makes certain scenes unforgettable. These costumes hold up to this day and continue to leave people awestruck.